Welcome, horror fans! Today, we're diving into the spine-chilling world of Spanish horror with a full recap of 30 to Malasana Street. This movie takes us back to the 1970s in Madrid, where a family moves into a new home only to discover that they are not alone. If you love haunted house stories with a twist, you're in for a treat. Before we get into the details, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future horror movie recaps. Now grab your popcorn, turn off the lights, and let's head to 30 to Malasana Street. The film opens with the Olmedo family moving into a large but rundown apartment in the Malasana neighborhood of Madrid. It's the late 1970s, and they're hoping for a fresh start in the bustling city, far from their troubles in the countryside. The family consists of Manolo, the father, Candila, the mother, their children, Pepe, Amparo, and Rafael, and their youngest, a little girl named Anita. They're excited but clearly overwhelmed by the new chapter in their lives. As they settle in, the apartment's eerie atmosphere starts to show. Strange noises echo through the halls, and there's a palpable sense of something watching them. The family quickly learns that their new home has a dark history. It all begins with small incidents, objects moving on their own, cold drafts in rooms with no windows open, and lights flickering at odd times. At first, they brush it off as quirks of an old building. Young Anita seems particularly sensitive to the apartment's unsettling energy. She starts talking to someone no one else can see, which her family dismisses as an imaginary friend. One night, Pepe sees a shadowy figure standing in the hallway. When he calls out, the figure vanishes into thin air. This marks the beginning of a series of increasingly terrifying events. Candila starts to feel that something is wrong. She finds strange symbols carved into the walls and discovers old photographs hidden in the attic, hinting at the previous occupants' troubled past. The haunting escalates when Amparo, the eldest daughter, experiences a chilling encounter. She hears whispers calling her name and is dragged out of bed by an unseen force in the middle of the night. Desperate for answers, Manolo decides to research the building's history. He learns that their apartment once belonged to an old woman who mysteriously vanished and was never seen again. It turns out that the apartment has a reputation in the neighborhood. Rumors of curses, deaths, and strange occurrences have plagued it for decades, driving previous tenants to flee. Meanwhile, Rafael discovers an old, dusty book in the apartment that seems to contain information about rituals and contacting the dead. As he flips through the pages, he accidentally awakens the spirit within the house. The entity, now fully unleashed, begins to terrorize the family relentlessly. Doors slam shut on their own, objects fly across the room, and the air grows thick with a malevolent presence. In their search for help, the family consults a local priest who is well-versed in the paranormal. He warns them that the spirit they're dealing with is vengeful and dangerous. The priest explains that the spirit is that of the old woman who used to live there. She was known to practice dark magic and left behind a curse when she died. He further reveals that the woman died a violent death in the very apartment, and her spirit has been trapped ever since, feeding off the fear of anyone who dares to live there. In a desperate attempt to rid themselves of the spirit, the family decides to perform a cleansing ritual suggested by the priest. But things take a terrifying turn during the ritual when the spirit lashes out violently. Anita, the youngest, becomes possessed by the spirit, speaking in a voice not her own and revealing horrifying secrets about the building's past. The family faces their worst nightmare as they struggle to save Anita from the entity's grasp. The apartment seems to come alive with malevolent energy, trapping them inside. Just when all seems lost, Amparo discovers the spirit's weakness, a hidden object that belonged to the old woman, buried within the walls of the apartment. In a heart-pounding sequence, they break through the wall to retrieve the object, a locket containing the old woman's photo. They must destroy it to free themselves from her curse. As they smash the locket, the spirit unleashes one final, terrifying scream, shaking the entire building before disappearing into silence. The family collapses in exhaustion, but they know that the nightmare might not be truly over. The old woman's malevolent gaze still seems to linger in the shadows of the apartment. In the aftermath, the Olmedo family decides to leave the cursed apartment for good. Their dream of a new life in Madrid shattered by the horrors they endured. The ending leaves us with a chilling thought. The apartment at 30 Malasana Street remains, waiting for its next unsuspecting victims to move in. 30 Malasana Street explores themes of fear, guilt, and the haunting grip of the past. The film uses its 1970s setting to heighten the sense of isolation and vulnerability. The story also touches on the human need to uncover hidden truths, even when those truths are better left buried. The real terror lies not just in the supernatural, but in the secrets that haunt us. And there you have it, a full recap of 30 Malasana Street, a film that reminds us that some places are better left undisturbed. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow horror lovers. Don't forget to comment below with your thoughts on the movie. Did you find the ending as chilling as we did? What's your favorite moment from the film? Let's talk all things horror in the comments. Until next time, stay spooky.